Hey everyone, Coach Patrick here, Endurance Nation, back with a special weekly 15-minute check-in with me. This is something new we're trying right now towards the end of the year to do a better job of connecting with athletes in short microbursts in ways that are a little more effective and efficient for you as the athlete. Everything that we do inside Endurance Nation is framed around making you more efficient and more effective as an athlete. If you could imagine, sort of the invention of the wheel over time, things have gotten more and more refined. You as an athlete are walking your own journey to improvement, and that journey has different mileposts, different milestones, different areas where you sort of see progression. But not all progression is linear. If we zoom out far enough, it certainly looks like over the course of 10 years, Jane athlete has gone from not knowing what she's doing to really being competitive. But truth be told, across that spectrum, if we were to just draw, what that looks like and kind of say like, hey, over time, how is Jane doing with her progression? We want to say, that it looks like this, right? Like Jane is just all the time, she's awesome. And every year that she goes through, she's better and she's better and she's better. But the reality is that as we go through the process of saying, what does it actually look like from an athlete progression standpoint? Some people would say it kind of looks like this, right? It looks like stepping stones. Like Jane's moving and she's grooving and she's getting there. She's got some stepping stones, right? And that's the way that we kind of normalize her performance over time. And this also makes sense, right? It looks like a graph, something that someone would say, this is my intent, right? Each year I intend to do one of these sections, right? Each year I'm going to kind of block through and say, okay, this is year 2, this is year 3, this is year 4. Things are awesome. I'm getting better and better and better as I go. But the reality is actually nothing like that whatsoever, okay? So the reality is that Jane's progress actually looks a lot more like this as she goes, okay? And the reason why it's important for us to kind of understand this perspective is that we normalize the highs. We normalize all these sections. We say, this is where we make our memory, right? We say, hey, this was awesome. I remember that year. Woohoo, we were so fantastic. But the reality is that we don't spend a lot of time there mentally. We spend all of our time mentally down here at the bottom. So we say, that year I was broken. This year, COVID happened, races got taken away from us. And we end up mentally spending more time on the negative side than on the positive side. And so understanding that developmentally things are not a linear progression is really, really important. And also understanding the emotional component of what that progression means and how we feel about our progression over time is also really, really important. What I want to talk to you about today is what we do inside Endurance Nation, which is identifying these areas for improvements here, right? So it's not just that Jane just started doing her workouts or Jane's metabolism got its act together. Something changed in these key areas that allowed Jane to become a better athlete. And inside Endurance Nation, we focus with each athlete to say, what are your critical success factors? What's going to move the needle for you? And we do it from macro to micro, depending on what your focus level is. If it's something you want to drive on your own, if it's something you want to drive with me as a coach, if it's something you want to create on your own because it doesn't exist out there. But that's essentially where we're at when we think about progression. So when we do that inside Endurance Nation, we are all about identifying those key areas. And so what I want to talk to you about today is understanding a little bit more of what progression means for athletes from an organizational standpoint. And this is not something that people typically talk about, but it's really, really important. And the reason why it's important is that you think about the average triathlete or average runner or average marathoner, going through their experience as an athlete. Say they train on average anywhere between 8 to 14 hours a week. It's kind of a good age grouper general progression, right? 8 to 14 hours a week. That's great. That sounds good to me, right? But you do the math on it across 24 hours in a day and 7 days a week, right? That's like 168 hours that we have. And you're spending 12 of those hours working out. So people who get really obsessed about what it means to be good with their workouts are leaving a lot on the table from that organizational standpoint. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, which is sort of understanding what are some key areas we could think about for organization that make a big difference for you, okay? So I'm going to draw like a handy little quadrant up here. So bear with me today. I think visual aids make a big difference in this process, so I want to do it. So we're going to put ourselves into a quadrant today. We're going to try and figure out where the best bang for the buck is for you in terms of how we can make progression go forward, right? So we've got our first quadrant, our second quadrant, third quadrant, and then we got our fourth quadrant, okay? I view fourth quadrant activities Fourth quadrant activities, those are all the workouts, okay? So we're just gonna say workouts. I'm just gonna put them right there. That's where you spend your time. That's where you say, this is where I wanna see better. I wanna run faster, bike faster, swim faster, lift higher, jump further, whatever that may be. That's where we focus all of our efforts in there, right? Taking a step back from that, the next level back, which is sort of more immediately apparent for people, I believe, and also similarly complicated here, is nutrition, okay? On the nutrition in the third piece, this is where athletes say, hey, you know what? I understand that what I'm putting into my body makes a big difference on how I perform in these workouts. So there's a correlation between the nutrition and the workouts, right? If I'm healthier, if I'm making better food choices, I have better workouts, I recover better. Everything seems to go better when I do that regard, right? Okay. The next quadrant we have after that, which I think is equally as important, but often also not really understood as an act, is recovery. Okay. In the recovery section, this is where we're saying, what are all the things that I can do outside of exercise around my workouts, right? So if your workout is from 10 to 12, then from 12 to 1, for example. Or if you got a weekly block that goes Monday to Sunday, we're looking at Sunday and saying, what can I do on Sunday? That recovery is the means of bridging the gap between workouts and making sure that you show up at the next session ready to work out to the best of your ability, but also that your body has handled the work that you've put into it in the first session. Nothing worse than doing a great workout, messing up your recovery, and then causing future downstream impacts from that session that could easily be avoided, right? And then this first quadrant, which is where we're going to spend most of our time today, is more around that daily life, okay? And this, to me, is really important because as athletes, this area here, quadrant 1, daily life, this is where all of our friction comes in, because your recovery boots don't care what your mood is like today. Your lunch meal doesn't care if you went food shopping or you walk the dog, but daily life really, really matters. Having everything set up in daily life makes a huge difference for what we think of in terms of smooth sailing. And so essentially, when I think about organizational tips for athletes, they're thinking a lot about, like, triathletes are thinking about transition. Runners are thinking about shoe organization. Cyclists are like, of course, my socks match my kit. I wouldn't leave the house without it. What are you talking about? But overall, it's a much bigger perspective that I think is really important. So we're going to cover some of those key tips today around this daily life aspect. I'm not going to get into the recovery, nutrition, the workout elements. We've done that before, and I'm sure I'll talk about them again. You can find them if you search up enduranceStation.us and just Google the topic of choice that you'd like. You'll find videos and articles, podcasts, and all the like that. Okay, so super important for us to kind of understand what that means for us as we go through this process. So as I go through the process of kind of managing my time, I like to work from macro to micro, but I also like to think about what my schedule is like, because the schedule makes a big difference for how successful you can be. And I say schedule simply because when I get down to brass tacks, organization needs to start where you are going to feel it most. So making a change that really benefits, your significant other, or benefits, your lawn, or whatever other thing in your life that is sort of consuming you in terms of time and attention, that's great, but the return on that investment, the timeline, the lag is so great that we can't actually attribute causation to your activity behaviors, right? So it's kind of like trying to, get your dog to stop going to the bathroom inside the house. If you come home and you find that the dog has gone pee in the house and it's been hours, you can go find the dog and take the dog over there and yell no, but the dog has no idea what you're talking about. Similarly, inversely, for us, if we're not going to be able to reinforce these organizational habits unless we actually see that return on investment in an organizational habit right away. Okay, so here are some of my key tips that I like to recommend to our athletes, especially athletes who are struggling with time. And I'd like to kind of work through it in a way that makes best sense from macro to micro. Okay, so the first macro topic for me that I think is really important from an organizational standpoint, and people always, they hate it when I start with this, but I totally start with it all the time. We take a day off. Right? So just take one day of organizing your schedule out of the schedule, right? So no juggling on this day. It could be a work day, it could be a home day, whatever it is, but have a day off. When you have a day off, then you have time. And when you have time, then we can start saying, what are all the things I need to do for the other 6 days to prepare myself, right? So really think about working in that day off, not just so much for recovery, although that does matter. And they're in the training plans for a reason, and you should probably listen to them. I'm just saying, I'm a little biased as your coach, but still, seriously, those days off are really important. But we can use it strategically to plan for the rest of our week, which is really, really important, okay? So people don't like that one at all, but they definitely like the second one. And this one, I realize is kind of a place of privilege. So, I realize not everyone is in this position. But that next option, go shopping, right? Okay. There's nothing worse than going to do your workout or going to eat during the workout or exercise or whatever, and you don't have enough. You don't have your clothes. You don't have socks. You don't have any food. There's no more drink powder. You don't have enough bottles or whatever it is. So if you are able to do it, I strongly advise you, huge organizational tip, is that you have enough things to get you through a week. Okay. This way, you don't have to remember on Tuesday after your run workout to wash the shorts because you need them on Wednesday night. That level of complexity starts to introduce problems, especially if you live in a house with other people. Then who knows where all those clothes will go just when you need them. So have enough clothes to get you through the week makes a big difference. Okay. Similarly, I would also just say sometimes some of you need to go shopping because the clothes you have are really old and smell really bad. And the people who live with you may or may not be comfortable saying something to you, but they know, right? So just, you may need some new clothes, So there you go. All right. So go shopping. I think that's a big one. And when I think about what that means for athletes overall, I kind of think with that it's permission to go get some more stuff and some new stuff, but it also makes life a lot easier. You can get organized. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. The next 2 points are all about clothing. And I think it's really important. So you just have this as well. Okay. So, and this again, this is the most, see if you guys can guess this one, the most dangerous activity you could possibly do in your house. Any guesses out there? The most dangerous activity that I think people undertake in the house is laundry. I've hurt myself doing laundry more than anything else, walking around with those stupid baskets. But you want to get your own laundry basket, okay? So don't put your clothes and your exercise clothes in with everyone else. Believe me, people are going to totally buy into this. Put them inside your own basket. You could see your clothes in the basket, and in the back of your head, it's coming down the week. You could take those clothes and wash them whatever you need or do whatever you need. It's very easy to kind of do a quick inventory of what do you have and what do you no longer have because it's in the basket. And then you can manage that accordingly. Again, keep those clothes out of everything else, but it makes a real simple thing. Get a small basket. I've got like a small one with 2 handles. All my exercise clothes go in there. Very simple. Never lose anything. Do my laundry in discrete sort of piles on its own. Super easy. Okay. Very simple. I think that's really important to get that. The second one is, and this is a little pun in place here. Here we go. Because I'm all about the wordplay, you guys who know me. The next one here, manage your drawers. Haha, that's for the dudes out there. Manage your drawers. What am I really saying? I'm saying that you want to have a good system for all of your clothes when you do have them in store, right? So for me, I've got different drawers in my bureau, and that top drawer is divided into, athletic socks and regular socks, like 2 separate sides, right? And they're divided by on my underpants, on my little bottoms there, right? And I in the middle, keep things separated. A step below that, normal shirts, whatever. Step below that, athletic shirts, all the athletic shirts that I have on the material, long sleeves on the left, short sleeves on the right, divided in the middle by base layers. Anything that I have that I wear when it gets colder or I'm going to be outside, it's windier, those are in the middle. So I can easily go in and I know if I need athletic socks, top right, athletic short sleeve shirt, bottom right, right? And then the bottoms, bike shorts, run shorts, leggings, whatever else I have, all down the bottom. And again, separated shorts, longs, and then any sort of compression gear or something in the middle. Very straightforward, very simple, but it's super easy for me to see when I pull open that drawer for a short sleeve shirt. I can see how many short sleeve shirts I have. They're all on that side. I don't fold them because they're either workout shirts, but I can see them there. And again, it helps me manage that inventory, and it makes the transition from being normal person into workout person a lot faster, which I think is a big difference. And that kind of comes to that next piece for me. And these are some of the last few ones I want to talk about today that I think are really, really important. Okay. And this is going to be like, I'm going to call it, what am I going to call this? We're going to call this one. We're going to call this one day ahead. I want you to start thinking one day ahead. So your ritual when you normally think about going to bed is like, turn off all the stuff. Yeah, I got to take the puppies out. Maybe one last snack because you can never get enough snacks. Look at this, I love snacks, right? And then you upstairs, you brush your teeth, you do whatever, you get into bed, right? Okay, there you go. In the new world that you're in, that part of that ritual becomes getting together all the stuff you're going to use in your workouts tomorrow, right? Some people like to plan their workouts 30 days ahead. Some people like to do Sunday to Sunday. For me, my daily life is kind of hectic enough that I can't have that level of dependency on my workouts. And also it's very weather dependent. If it's going to be crappy tomorrow, I'm going to be indoor on a treadmill. That's a different clothes than if I'm going outside to run, right? So kind of the day before, I can pull out the weather app, take a look at it, know what I need. I get all those clothes together and they go next to my bed. Drives my wife crazy, but all my clothes are right next to my bed. I got shorts, socks, shirt, all the stuff that I need. Because if I have an early morning workout, I get out of bed and I put those clothes on right away. It's really hard to not work out if you are completely dressed for your workout. You can't find another reason to do it, right? And contextually, there's lots of things you don't do when you're dressed in your workout clothes. Like you don't sit down and start doing Zoom meetings. Like you set the stage to be successful. Secondly, later on, when you've got only a short window for your workout or something else to manage, you don't have to run around trying to find stuff. It's also here. So even if I'm not going to put those clothes on, they go with me downstairs. I'll put them inside a bag. So I have it all ready to go out of the way. So I don't drive my wife super crazy. And I'm ready to go in that regard. So having the next day's gear all set becomes really important. And this extends itself also to the weekends, especially when we get in season and we're doing longer workouts on the weekend, the weather gets warmer, having all that nutrition ready. Part of that bedtime routine is getting all that nutrition ready, sticking it on the kitchen counter in a nice discreet corner so you're ready to go. So you can get up and you can breakfast and you can go. You don't have to deal with any of the ancillary stuff that really kind of holds people back. So today we've talked about the importance of that day off, going shopping for all the clothes that we have, having your separate laundry basket so life is easy, managing your drawers for organizational perspectives, and always thinking one day ahead, okay? The last piece that I would think about from a workout perspective that I think is important that organizationally some people really resist, and I'm just going to leave it here because it's something that works for some people and doesn't work for other people, which is just to, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to spell it correctly. This is one of my least favorite words out there. Sorry about this. I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to say, I want you to calendarize it. I want you to go ahead and calendarize that workout. So like literally put it in your day. So this is really important from a visual perspective. So you can see exactly how, where that workout's going to fit. So if you have an hour and a half workout, this is what happens to me. And this is why I want to leave you with this thought, because successful athletes are the ones who do their workouts consistently and also do their workouts as they're designed to be done and not half-assing it, which is what most of us end up doing. So say you planned a 90-minute bike workout today. 90 minutes, you got it. And inside the back of your head, as you're going through your day, you're trying to find a 90-minute window. And you're like, well, I can't do that. I got to go to the pool. I pick up my kid. I can't do this. I'm waiting home to sign for a package. I can't do that. I've got like someone coming to the house. I can't do that. I got a meeting. I can't, whatever it is, right? All these different things happening. So you're constantly searching, like your phone and an app working in the background, draining your battery, searching for this 90-minute window. Eventually, you may or may not find that 90-minute window. Most of the time, people don't find a 90-minute window. They find like a 60-minute window. And they say, well, that's good enough. I'm going to take 30 minutes off the workout. Who needs to warm up and cool down? And I won't tell my coach, and I'll just do this main set. I'll get on the bike and do the main set. Now I have to go find my exercise clothes and my food. My stuff's not ready. I go through all that. All of a sudden, it ends up being 45 minutes. You start working out. You're 30 minutes in, then you realize you didn't budget any time to actually shower after your workout. So you got to cut it short. So your 90-minute workout becomes really sort of 30 minutes of work with a bunch of admin and stress. So total cortisol level is super high because you've been running around super stressed, but we haven't gotten the workout adaptations that we wanted anyway. And so calendarizing your workouts really helps you define the true time it's going to take you to do it, because you put it in the calendar. It has to fit. You can't have something else overlapping it, and it becomes a hard space. So whether you do this at the beginning of the week for the entire week, or you just do it on a rolling daily basis, depending on how much flexibility you have in your schedule, how many people are in your schedule, blocking out that time in your day becomes really, really important. Now you see it, you can block that time out. The odds of it happening when it is visually located in your calendar for not only you to see, but your colleagues, especially in this digital age, it makes a massive difference in terms of your compliance. So from an organizational perspective, if you're one of those digital sort of only type folks, putting it on the calendar makes a big difference. Yes, having a training plan on your fridge, back in the old days with all the little magnets, that was awesome. But in terms of actual execution, moving through your day, making sure you have that time to train, putting it on the calendar makes a big difference as well. All right, there you go. 15 minutes, 6 of my tips for you guys on organizing your time. If you've got more comments or feedback, like getting 11 drawers, like Mr. Sullivan over there, YOLO drawers, please go ahead and put it in the comments. I'll be back next week with a different topic. I'll announce it during the week on the Facebook page, but you're more than welcome to show up each week about 15 minutes talking about a particular topic. Open to suggestions as well. All right. Thanks so much, folks. Great connecting with all of you. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Wherever you may be, stay safe, stay healthy, and do yourself a favor. Get organized. I'll see you guys.